are recording. So thank you, Karen.
Hello, everyone. This is Karen Pop, the Global Chair of the WWCDA, and welcome to the annual meeting of 2020. Sorry that we are not all in San Diego as I speak. It would have been our getting ready for our morning breakfast. We actually would be having the breakfast right now. And I'm sorry that we all can't be together, but I'm hoping that everyone is safely where you are today and that you'll remain safe. As you can imagine, it was a tough decision, but glad that we took it, obviously, and glad we took it in such a timely way so that everyone could make the plans that you've been able to make since then, and glad you're with us today. We also understand, our time zone is not able to accommodate everyone without staying up late, so thank you for those of you who are staying up late to be with us, and those of you who have gotten up early to be with us. I want to start off by thanking VRG, who's hosting this WebEx, which is just fantastic. Couldn't do it without you, as we can't do without all of our sponsors, which we'll be talking about today. But thank you for jumping in here at a moment's notice to host us today. Did want to remind everyone who's listening to please keep your phone muted, and also if you need to put us on hold and your firm plays music while on hold, please either drop and then dial back in, or just mute or something so that we can't hear your music. I want to say that we've got an unbelievable agenda for today's WebEx, and had we been in person, this would have been delivered yesterday with all of the folks that are going to be speaking today would have been present with us. We've got a great leadership team that you're going to be hearing from, but I want to start off by saying, going to the next slide, that we've got a very robust and healthy WWCDA around the world. Could we go to the next slide? I want to show everyone that we are at a very healthy 41 chapters throughout North America, Europe, Latin America, and Asia Pacific. We are growing. Last year we launched 6 chapters: Minnesota, Italy, Brazil, Germany, San Diego, and Japan. Brazil and Germany and San Diego and Japan were launched after the last annual meeting, so this is their first time to be participating in an annual meeting. We also have other chapters in the pipeline. We've got Montreal, India, Spain, Brussels, Dubai, and the Ukraine is very interested in having a chapter, so we're in talks with them. We've got very strong chapters throughout the world, and you can read about them. You will be receiving during this call the annual meeting program, which actually serves as the reference guide for the year. And there are chapter reports from each chapter so that you can read what's going on in the various chapters around the world. If we go to the next slide, I just want to remind folks that we have a very active and busy series of events coming up. Our chapters do a lot of the work for us. The committee members do a lot of work for us. But our chapters, each chapter has a leadership team of the leader, the secretary, the social media coordinator. I encourage you to get to know your leadership well, to offer to help in the various activities that the chapters do, to even volunteer to help on the committees that the WWCDA has that we pursue. Lots of member benefits that are available for all of you. So the theme here is to partake and spread the word. And this slide shows a lot of things that are happening this year. We've got, obviously, the annual meeting. We've got a London reception coming up, a September event. We've got our awards program that was launched, and we had our first dinner last year, and we're having another one. It's already underway in December. You're going to be hearing all about the details of all of this on today's meeting. The various initiatives that we've got, the Monitor Initiative, the Speakers Initiative, the rankings, the thought leadership, social media, the small firm initiative. You'll be hearing more about most of these today. We've got the leaders of these various initiatives that will be giving you reports and talking about next steps. Again, I encourage you guys to get more involved if you're interested in any of these activities. We are rolling out, as you should know by now from all the emails, we're rolling out a new website, a new listserv. It's coming in the next few weeks. You will need to have a completed profile in order to access our new listserv. The current listserv will be taken down in the next several weeks. So if you haven't yet completed your profile, please do so. You will be hearing a lot of detail about how to do that and what the website is about and the listserv here in a few minutes, and with some detailed about information about if you have questions, who to reach out to. We launched our newsletter last year that's going gangbusters, and I hope you're enjoying that, and you'll hear a little bit more about that as well. Our membership is growing. We are actually at a little over 2,000 members. Our literature still says more than 1,700, but we are a little above 2,000. We are launching an alumni association this year because obviously some of our members leave to go in-house or to go to the government, and have reached back out wanting to stay in touch and attend our events that are open to non-members. So we will be doing that, and it's just fabulous to see that type of connection with the WWCDA, even if you do leave to go elsewhere outside of private practice. Obviously, we've been very successful with marketing and branding, and we've gotten a lot of great press, which we'll be talking about. We've got a press initiative. We've got a PR firm working with us. You're going to be hearing about that here in a few minutes. And then we have a historian, and we've launched our archives. All the work we're doing, all the activities we're doing, generates a lot of electronic and paper data that we now are going to be keeping in an organized way and to be accessible when needed. Let's go to the next slide. This is a sort of a summary of the various committees that we have in place that does all of this work in conjunction with help from our chapters and our leadership of these committees you'll be hearing from today. This committee chart is on our website at wwcda.org under the About Us tab. Would encourage those of you who are not yet more involved with us to look at these committees and get involved. Just reach out to me or any of the leaders listed in the program guide that you'll be receiving momentarily. Next slide. I need to stop here and emphasize this. All of the work that we do and all of the accomplishments that we're having and the benefits to our members, the promoting of our members, the promoting of women in white collar, and letting the world know that there are a lot of women in this space, practicing in this space, both as a lawyer and a consultant. We could not do what we're doing without our sponsors. And we're very blessed to have a robust group of sponsors. Our diamond sponsors, I want to give a special call out to our Alex partners, Alvarez and Marcel, BDO, BRG, Deloitte, FTI Consulting, Guidepost, Stone Turn. These sponsors, as well as the others, just do phenomenal help to us. The law firms, Platinum, Gold, and Silver, everyone's commitment to us, monetary support, allows us to do all that we're doing for our members, because everything the WWCDA does is for the members. We are promoting you and your practices and the concept of women in this practice. If we go to the next slide, this is also another thing that has transpired over the years, is that our sponsors also give us administrative support in all of the work that we're doing. You've got Alex Partners, who's our treasurer and doing our sponsor-related activities. You've got Alvarez and Marcel, who has helped us lead on the historian and archives work. BDO is helping us on the speakers initiative. BRG with the thought leader survey and events. Ernst & Young with the newsletter. FTI Consulting does our social media. Guidepost is helping us on the rankings initiative. KPMG helps us on our compliance program with OFAC compliance. PwC is doing a business strategy plan for us. Stone Turn is helping us on the monitor initiative. And then we have BDO, Deloitte, and Stone Turn, who makes up our marketing department. Each of those firms have given us someone from their marketing departments, and those 3 women constitute our marketing and communications department. And we can't do the work we're doing without the administrative support that these sponsors are giving us. Let's go to the next slide. We have a very easy way to get in touch with us. And I should also say that the corporate directory, sponsor directory, that will be coming out shortly in the next few weeks, have our sponsors, our corporate sponsors listed in it. It will also have the women from those companies that are available to help you in your practice when you need that type of help from that type of firm. So we encourage you to use the sponsor directory in that way. And then this is a list of a lot of email addresses that are extremely helpful with any types of questions that you might have on all of our various initiatives. This email address list will be in the guide that you'll be getting momentarily as well. Let's go to the next slide. Finally, before we get into the rest of the program, I just wanted to go through with you quickly what we'll be covering today. We've got we'll hear from our annual meeting co-chairs who have done a tremendous job with the meeting that didn't happen. It would have been fantastic in San Diego, but they've done a tremendous job with getting us to where we are today with this WebEx and the guide that's coming out and the retreat we had. We had the leadership retreat yesterday, which you'll hear a little bit about as well. But we'll hear from them. We'll also get, in addition to the leadership retreat, we'll get a report from our executive committee. Each of our committees are going to be reporting out in detail. We're going to have a number of speakers on each of these. And so we are very blessed to have a great leadership team, and I look forward to having you hear from them at this annual meeting. So I'm going to turn it over to our annual co-chairs. Claire and Stacy. And Stacy, again, congratulations on another great annual meeting that didn't actually happen in person, but certainly is happening in this form.
Claire, are you on mute? Well, this is Stacy Gottlieb. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for all of your support and assistance as we plan for this meeting, and for all of your support in advertising in the program guide, which you'll see. I think it's really a fabulous publication, and to my co-chairs for doing a great job setting up the meeting. I wish we could have had this in person, but I'm very glad we're able to be here today.
And hi, this is Stacy Hartman. I'll just join the chorus of welcome and thank yous to all of you for joining us. As Karen laid out, notwithstanding that we're doing this by WebEx, we still have a very rich and we hope rewarding program for everyone. And thank you so much to Claire and Stacy for all your hard work on this.
I wonder if we lost Claire.
Claire, are you on?
So this is Stacy Hartman. I understand that Claire, who just texted me, can hear all of us, but apparently we're having difficulty hearing her. So perhaps she can pipe in when we restore that connection, and maybe we should just proceed. But Claire's the mastermind behind all of this WebEx working, so extra kudos to her.
Yeah, and so what we would like to do right now is to hit the pause button. We are going to switch for 1 second. Teresa, if you're on.
Yes.
we are going to make a switch in the programming. So if folks could just hold on for 1 second, so that we can do that.
Yeah, Karen?
Yep.
I can do the leadership retreat overview, and in the meantime, if you want to switch the programming.
Yeah, so Lisa, are you on? Lisa,
yes,
can?
I'm here.
Yeah, I just sent you something. All right, go ahead, Teresa. Go ahead and do the overview, and then just keep the...
Okay,
ahead,
great.
Lisa. Go ahead, Teresa.
So this is Teresa Trascoma. I wanted to give you all a report on the leadership retreat that we had yesterday. Janelle O'Cleary, who's the chapter leader for Ireland, and I were co-chairs of that retreat, which, like today's annual meeting, was supposed to be a lovely in-person affair in sunny and warm San Diego, but we met by cold and impersonal WebEx. But it was actually a great day. We had more than 100 of our leadership members, our leadership team participating. And again, BRG helped host that event, and we appreciate it. So even without sunshine, even without lunch and breakfast, we had a great turnout. People from around the globe dialed in. And the leadership, as Karen pointed out on one of the earlier slides, includes the executive committee, the chapter leaders, the annual meeting and awards dinner chairs, and all of the other committee chairs and subcommittee chairs that you saw on the chart. It's a lot of people who are working hard to make this organization work for you. And we used the retreat as an opportunity to cover what we've accomplished in the past year, as well as to set out our goals for 2020. And, just at a high level, as you can see from the overview, we covered a number of topics, some of which will be covered today, and I won't repeat them. But I do want to highlight on membership that it's really you, our members, who are the reason for this organization, and we want to continue to make sure that this organization is working for you. You're going to hear this, I have a feeling, a few times during the day today, but one of the most important ways that you can help us to help you is to complete your profile on WWCDA Connect. And the reason it's so important, or one reason it's so important, is because we want to help you raise your visibility and your profile. And we can't do that if you're a blank, contentless image in the system. So it's really important for you. It's very easy. You'll see Susan Pazorgi will explain the Higher Logic platform, and it's super user-friendly. I think it'll be much easier for everyone to complete their profiles if you haven't done it already. So complete your profiles and make sure you keep them up to date. If you change jobs, if you develop a new practice area, update. I have to update my picture because my hair is much more gray. So update your information. And if you leave private practice and are no longer eligible for membership in the WWCDA, let your chapter leader know so that if you've gone in-house or you've gone to government, we can keep track of you, move you to alumni status, continue to reach out when we have alumni events, and keep you, receiving the newsletter and the like. Our membership has grown, as Karen mentioned. We're more than 2,000 members now, which is extraordinary. And as the membership grows, so does the strength of our organization. Your chapter leaders are working to identify candidates for membership, but you should be doing the same. We would ask that you, just be mindful as you're out and about at events, with friends and colleagues. I have been in depositions where I have noticed that even my adversary across the table is a fabulous white-collar lawyer, and have invited them to join the WWCDA. The more members we have and the more diverse they are, the stronger our networks will be. And so, and diversity is important. So, whether that's racial diversity, cultural diversity, geographic diversity, LGBTQ diversity, we want this organization to work for all women. So, so we appreciate your help in helping us identify potential members. And one thing that's going to make that process a lot easier, as you'll hear, is that the new website is going to permit an online application process. That is going to allow you, if you want to invite a new member, to send a link that will allow that potential member very easily to complete a membership application and join us. And it will really streamline that process. And I will just, echo what Karen said. If you are interested in becoming more involved in this organization, and especially if you're interested in helping to lead it into the future, please reach out to one of the leadership team members or your chapter leader so we can figure out how best to deploy your talents. There are so many opportunities for you to get involved, and we really hope that you will do so. So with that, I will turn it over, and I think there is
Teresa,
another PowerPoint that I'm going to. Yep.
Yeah. So Teresa, I'm gonna just talk for a couple of minutes while you get the PowerPoint uploaded, and hopefully Lisa will call you and help you do that. So I wanted to just elaborate on a couple of points that Teresa has just made, and that is on membership. So this year, because it looks like that, we'll get to this in just a couple of minutes. We will be walking through with you our new website and our new listserv. And on that new website, we will now be taking membership applications. We will no longer take on members through paper or just by reaching out to the chapter. It will have to go through our website. And so when you find someone that is wanting to join, then you can simply tell them to go to the website, WWCDA.org, and up in the upper right-hand corner, there'll be a tab that says to join us. And by someone completing that, we will be able to very quickly, once their membership application is approved and accepted, they will automatically be added to the listserv and everything else. We will still have paper applications that we will hand out when we are at events at other people's conferences. And also that standalone will then be able to do the we'll take in the paper application, then we'll follow up them for electronic membership. Now, for those of you who are currently members, and like I said before, there's over 2,000 of us. We need you to get your profile up on the new website, and all of you have now received a link to do that. And the profile needs to be completed, and Susan Bazorgi, who's going to be doing our presentation here in a couple of minutes about all of this, she will be going through the importance of the profile, because without a profile and without it being completed, you will not be able to access our listserv anymore. And then you also will not be able to, your bio will not be public or intra-facing either. And we know from some recent activity on our website that there have been business being given out as a result of people finding our women on our website. So that's a good incentive to try to get the profile up. So Teresa, I wanted to ask you: Are we ready to upload the new the PowerPoint?
This is Stacey. I think we have it.
Okay, because I'm not seeing it. That's why I'm asking. Oh, I just saw it. Okay, so why don't we go to the next slide? And Teresa, you just finished your report. Did you have anything else to say that you wanted to say about from the executive committee?
I don't. I think we can move on to our fabulous awards program.
Yeah. So let me just tee this up, because Jody and Lynn, those of you, and we had a sellout, as you guys know. The awards dinner in December was really just an unbelievable success, thanks to them. And they're already working hard on the next one. So Jody Avergun and Lynn Nils are co-chairs of our awards program. Take it away.
This is Lynn. I'm on. I think, Jody, are you there? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thanks, Lynn.
Yep, we can hear you.
Yep. Okay, so I thought Jody was going to join, but why don't I start it off here? So, thanks, Karen, for introducing us and introducing the awards program. We had a great time, as everyone, for those of you who were able to come. The awards program was launched, as everyone knows, in 2018, and we had 4 different awards that we gave out: the Champion Award, the Group Award, the Lori Miller Leadership Award for the Advancement of Women in White Collar Defense, and then the Catherine M. O'Neill Mentoring Award.
Teresa, you go to the next slide.
Yeah. And so this was, it was a huge success, as Karen said. We were, pretty much oversubscribed. We give our congratulations to the 2019 award winners. For those who couldn't come, it was Mary Jo White, the Olympus Corporation, Joan McPhee, and Emily Ward. So we're planning now, as Karen said, for the next awards dinner gala, which is going to be December 1st in Washington, D.C. We're in the process of, so I think Jody's joined, but Jody, feel free to jump in. So we're looking to get nominations for next year's or this year's awards gala. You can send your nominations to awards@WWCDA.org. And the timeline is that the nominations are going to be open as of April 1st of 2020. And the nominations period actually is going to close on July 15th. So please start thinking about, who you might want to nominate. The recommendations to the executive committee have to be in by August 15th.
Hey, Teresa, you can go to the next slide.
Oh, sorry, I know we're behind.
Yeah.
I just wanted. I was communicating with Jody, and I just want to say to all the presenters, you should see a phone next to your name in the participants, so that and if you don't see a phone next to your name, we're not going to be able to hear you. So if you can't see that, reach out to me offline on email, and I'll try to give you some technical support. Thank you.
Okay. So the awards gala is going to be December 1st in DC. We'll announce the awards sometime in mid-September of 2020. So we're pleased. Jody and I would love to have, some of the members, join our the awards program committee. It has 3 teams: nominations and ceremony agenda team, the dinner logistics team, and then the marketing, invite, and program guide team. So if any of you are interested in helping us and being on one of those teams, please send an email to awards@wwcda.org. We would really, appreciate the help, and it actually is a lot of fun. And so we'd love, as many people as possible to kind of help as we plan the gala. Things are, plans are already underway. We're already looking at venues, and also are thinking parts of the 2020 annual meeting networking program during the day of the awards dinner. So, the plan, I think, is, Karen, correct me if I'm wrong, is to, have a networking program during the day. Since we missed our annual meeting, is to have a program during the day of the awards dinner gala. So we're hoping all of you can make it.
Yeah,
for that as well.
So as you guys know from the previous emails, when we canceled the annual meeting in San Diego, we said we would be looking for ways to have parts of the annual meeting at another time. Obviously, today is part of that. But we did have two fabulous speakers, networking speakers, one on wellness and one on executive coaching, that we had contracted with to come in, and that was going to be our afternoon session where we do, get to know each other better and facilitated by a speaker. And this year we're going to have two of them. We have asked them to hold the date of December 1st so that we could perhaps that day, that the gala dinner is that evening, but that day we may be able to have some portion of the annual meeting networking that day, possibly, starting with the lunch and then have an afternoon session before we go into the awards dinner. We're not sure it's going to work because this is all obviously brand new and we're making it up as we go because of the cancellation this week in San Diego. But we are attempting to do that, and Jody is already out looking at additional venues in D.C. For that purpose. So let me just emphasize, though, something that Lynn said, and I know Jody is on. She's just, her phone is, we're having technical difficulties in her being able to speak because of the mute issue. But let me just say that Lynn and Jody, not only did they, do a fabulous job, but we now have a great roadmap for this second round of activity for this awards program. And as you know from the previous timeline, we're getting started already. So please send in your nominations. But for anyone who would like to get involved with the program, please send an email to the awards@wwcda.org, which is on the screen. Be part of this great effort because it really is a lot of fun and very, very rewarding. The people that got the award this past year, the Olympus Corporation, Mary Jo White, Joan McPhee, Emily Ward, and then we had all these wonderful speakers presenting the awards to them. It was just a fantastic event, and I know those of you who were there will agree with that. So. Let us now go to our next item on the agenda, which is our new website, our new listserv, and the profile that all of you already have or will get set up. So, Susan?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. We can hear you great. Susan, it's Lisa. I'm going to give you presenter role, okay?
Well, I don't think I need it because we're going to do it by PowerPoint.
Oh, so great. Okay.
Just flip the slides for me. Hi, everybody. My name is Susan Bazorgi. I'm Global Vice Chair, and I'm also co-chapter leader in Florida. And I really have had the privilege to be involved with helping to create a new website for us, which gives us really two powerful tools. It's not only a new public view of our association, which is something that I think is important for new members to understand what we do. You'll see this is what's on the screen right now is essentially the way the website's going to look. That lor ipsum is website Latin. So that will obviously have content in it. This website is really an opportunity for us to feature our members more powerfully, feature what we do. You'll see that it shows recent news. There is a featured member. Martha does not happen to be a member. She's a consultant for us. But that flips. So those that have their profiles done, and I'll go over the profiles with you in a moment, they will randomly appear on the home page as a featured member. So this website serves, this public website, let's call it, serves many purposes. It introduces our association to new members. It introduces our association to sponsors. It introduces our association to the press. And I think all of us would agree the most important thing that it will do is hopefully help clients, which Karen has talked about, identify an appropriate counsel. So you'll see at the top, it says find a professional. One of the slides we get to in a moment, what is important for you to understand is, and I'll show you this, unless you have your profile complete, you will not come up in the search. So that's one of a litany of reasons why you need your profile done. A second reason is you will not appear, like I said, in the featured member box that is underneath the hero image. Something I want to point out while you're looking at this is you see the Join Us at the top right of the screen. That is where any new member can go to find our online application. Once they fill out the online application, it goes to the membership committee, and then that gets forwarded to the chapter leaders for approval. So this website, the public, and I'm going to show you soon, the community aspect is really a one-stop shop for not only the public, but our community. Go to the next slide, please. This is the bottom half of the website. There are tiles that will take any public user to areas of our website that we want to highlight. These we can change at any time, and we can change the photographs as well. So as we grow, as our events evolve, this is a place and a space where we can highlight what we're doing. You see at the bottom that we keep our sponsors ever present. There's also a drop down on the top of the page that lists all the levels of sponsorship. This is a place where you can go to learn to become a sponsor. Next slide, please. Lisa, can you go? Oh, thank you. Okay, so this is what your profile looks like. Okay. Now,
hey, Susan.
Yes.
Hey, Susan. There's a lot of background. Are you on your handheld? Because you need to be on your handheld.
No, it's not me. I think it's somebody else.
I think someone named Nicole. I think Nicole Stockney was not muted. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I just muted her.
Thank you. So this is what your profile looks like. Okay. When I say that your profile needs to be complete, and I've had some emails the last day or so with members, I mean all of your profile. So, I mean, your photograph needs to be there. And let me see what the next, go to the next slide, Lisa. So I think this is the bottom half of the profile. Yeah. Your practice areas, where your chapter is, what law school you went to, the year you graduated, and all aspects of that profile need to be complete for you to, and this is where I'll list it for you. You need this to be completely done for you to participate in the forum discussions. And forum discussions is our new language for listserv communication. And I'll explain that in a moment. You will not come up in a public search for a professional for like, let's say someone goes in and puts in Miami, your name won't come up unless this profile is complete. You need it to be complete to connect with members within the WWCDA Connect community. That's the logged in portion of the site. You won't show up as a featured member until this is built out. You will not be able to register for events, and the programs that we create for the events need to have this information for you to be included in the program. So it really is going to serve as everything you need to be able to fully participate in the advantages that this WWCDA Connect site will give us. Can you go to the next slide, please? So this is the Find a Professional. Okay. So if you can go to the next page, next slide. It gives you options. So let's say a client, a general counsel comes in and they want to search. They can search the location, a chapter, a subspecialty. Go to the next slide. I wanted you to see this because this is what came up when I put in Miami white collar. We have 62 members in Florida, but 4 showed up. So this is the significance, as I said, of having your profile done. If you can flip to the next slide. So this is the community aspect of the site, which is called WWCDA Connect. And it's customized to you. So once you log in, it says at the top left, welcome back, Susan Bazorgi. You'll see at the top right, it says my WWCDA, which is, once you hit that arrow, it gives you options of things that you can do while within this community aspect of the site. A lot of them are hot buttons you'll see at the burgundy there. Forums will take you to my forums. Events will take you to your registered event page. Connections is a place where you can connect with other members on the site. And profile takes you to that profile page that I already showed you. Also, it's customizable from the standpoint of the latest discussions that you see at the bottom of the screen. Those are your latest discussions. If you can go to the next slide, please. So, for example, forums are your individual communities that you're a part of. Myself, for example, I'm a member of the WWCDA Master Forum, as are all of you. But I'm also a member of the Florida Forum. I'm a member of the Executive Committee Forum, okay? And so the latest discussions will pull in all of the pertinent discussions to my forum. The featured member also appears on the logged in page, as does our Twitter feed. Next slide, please. These are my forums, as I just explained to you. So these are the forums that I participate. Now you will also be able to see under the My WWCDA, that top navigational right bar, next slide, you'll be able to see all the other chapters. And this is important because being able to see all the other chapters gives you the opportunity to RSVP to any chapter event. So this is an example of Australia's chapter. And a forum is not only the discussions that take place back and forth, but there also include the events that chapter has, announcements, the library or any documents that the members want to share back and forth. And you can log in to WWCDA Connect to go to the forum to post a message. You know where it says here, post to the discussion? Or look above the latest discussion post. It gives you an email address. That is the second way that you can participate in the forum discussion. You can sit at your Outlook, put in that email address, and you will be able to send a message to every member of that forum, just like you do right now. So if you are ever wondering, how do I communicate from my Outlook, you just go in, note the email address, and then moving forward, that's the email address that you'll use. So let's say you are going to be in Australia and you want to see if they're having any events. So you'll go to their forum. This is the page that'll come up. You will enter the networking event on March 25th. And from there, there's an opportunity for you to RSVP. Can you go to the next slide, please? So This is the list of Australia's networking events. When you would enter that, you could enter that blue line networking event, and there's an RSVP button, and there's also a button to add it to your calendar. Next slide. The online aspect of the site also has, if you hit upcoming events, it has a list of every event for every chapter. For our national events that we have, there's going to be a running list so that you can see every event that's possible for you to attend and either register if you're required to register, if a ticket sale is required, and or just RSVP if it's just open to them. So this is your one-stop shop. This is where you can go for discussions, to connect with other members, where you can find information if you're looking for somebody in a city. So, for example, on the logged in page, when you do a search, you get private information. So when you create your profiles, you can keep your cell phone accessible only to other members. So it's a one-stop shop, like I said, for all aspects of continued engagement throughout the year. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is just showing you what the email addresses are for all the forums. Next slide. And I wanted to give you an example of what the email will look like in your email box. Whether it's posted from WWCDA Connect or sent from somebody's Outlook, this is what you're going to be getting in your email box. This is the beginning half of it. Next slide. And this is the second half. So we are porting some of the conversations so that some of it exists historically. Obviously, we can't port everything from Google Groups, but I think a lot of you have seen this. This was a recent conversation and discussion about alternative feeds that got pretty active. So, you know, obviously we see Eileen's profile has been complete. We see her photograph, and we see the content of what's being discussed, and you can reply to the group or you can reply simply to the center. Next slide, please. So finally, it's really important for everybody so that we can continue to maintain contact with each other, that we can continue to be getting these emails, that you add the email contact to your Outlook. And you need to be adding emails like events@wwcda.org, that you add the master listserv discussion email, which is wwcda-forum@connectedcommunity.org, that you check your spam folders and mark as safe all of these emails and not junk, and that you contact your ID department, no matter how big or small that they are, and whitelist on your firm system the domain @wwcda.org and @connectedcommunity.org. And these are going to be critical steps to everybody to stay connected and to remain an active part of our new website and our new online community, which is going to keep us connected throughout the year. That's all I got. Thank you, guys.
Well, that was fantastic. I hope you guys will agree that we are really going to be going to the next level with our Higher Logic platform, a website, all these different listservs. I call them listservs. We're going to be using the terminology forum, but we will have the WWCDA listserv that will, you know, be called the WWCDA forum, but we'll be also having each chapter will have its own listserv. Each of our committees will have its own listserv. And then, as you saw from the pages, the forums themselves will have a lot more, you'll have a lot of easy access to information. And then, of course, you're getting your profile up will be very important for all the reasons that Susan said. One thing that I would add that I alluded to a few minutes ago, we already know from different experiences that people are using our website to find women. By the way, we're getting some blowback. If folks could make sure that you're muted, that would be great. And Lisa, if you could help us, Lisa from BRG, by muting, that would be wonderful. But what I was going to say is, and this will be a segue to our monitor presentation we're going to be giving here in a few minutes. I actually got a call several weeks ago from a government agency, said that they had been up on our website at WWCDA.org and wanted to know if all of our members had their bios up on the website, or if there were actually other women in our membership that didn't have their bio on the website. And I asked why they were asking about that. And it's because that they had a case going in a particular city in the U.S., and that they were looking for more candidates to be considered for a receivership, monitorship. And I said, well, I know that chapter does not have all of its members' bios up. Can we get you the list? And they said yes, so we did, and ultimately one of our members got selected to be a receiver. And we are now in discussions, and that's, one of the reasons we've gone ahead. We've talked about launching the Monitor Receiver Initiative, but that is one of the reasons we've gone ahead and done that, is because we now have government agencies who are interested in utilizing our platform, accessing women through our platform. And as Susan has just explained to you, unless you have your profile up, and it be complete, it has to be complete. It can't be a partial. It has to be completed with your picture and everything. It will not show up. It will not interface publicly if someone is trying to find, a woman in a particular city. We've also had a news network wanting to interview women in this space who have used our website for that reason as well. Again, in a particular city, and again, we had to utilize the membership list instead of the website because the website was not complete. We're not going to have that luxury in this new website because it has to be complete in order for you guys to access the listserv and everything else. So let's keep moving. We're going to go now to the historian archive presentation. Bridget Moore, who is our historian, I know has been on a phone call with the client. I'm not sure if she's been able to dial in. Alvarez and Marcel has been just enormously helpful leading this and getting us set up with the archive system. And I think Candace, especially if Bridget's still tied up, you're going to be leading the discussion.
I believe.
And again, if folks can mute, because I'm hearing some conversation, if people can mute, or if BRG, if you can figure out how to mute people's lines except the speaker. Thank you.
Hi, Karen. It's Brandon Moss. I believe Candace is out of the office today, and Bridget is tied up.
So, all right. So Brandon is part of our Young Professionals Committee and is on the Historian Archive. She's an associate in Washington, D.C. at Wiley-Rein. And she and Bridget and Candace have been working on this. So, Brandon, thank you very much for presenting since both Bridget and Candace are not available.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to pitch in and help and tell everyone about the great work our team's been doing. It's a little hard to follow Susan and all of her work on Higher Logic. What a tremendous platform that is. But, we'll talk a little bit about our little piece of the puzzle here. Again, hi, everyone. I'm Brandon Moss. I'm with Wiley-Rein's White Collar Group as a partner. I want to talk a little bit about the historian team and what we've been working on, particularly creating an archive of all of the great work, all the hard work we've been doing, including, invitations to events, different marketing pieces, articles mentioning Women's White Collar Defense Association, and importantly, pictures. In a sense, we're creating a cloud-based archive where, it's just the history of our organization. So we can go and look back and pull things if necessary and use them going forward. This is our team. Bridget is the head historian. I'd also like to point out that Candace and her partner, Lauren, have really, really helped us out here, taking the laboring oar with creating our box system and really kind of making everything work. Without them and their hard work, this wouldn't have been possible at all. The next slide, I guess the key question here is, well, why are we telling you all about this? This is a lot of back of the house type stuff, but really it doesn't work without our members. The members need to be taking pictures. If you're creating content, if you have pictures of events, if you have other things related to events, please send them to your chapter secretary. The chapter secretary has been told about how to upload things to our box system, and they can put them in the right folder so we have a record going forward. Again, without y'all sending us what you have and your materials and your great content, we don't have an archive, so really implore y'all to help out. So the archive that we have, instead of everything being with Karen, is going to be on a box. The box is a cloud-based website where we have different folders for each chapter and, of course, the national section, which will have subfolders for events, marketing materials, articles, etc., pictures. And what we can do is once the secretaries upload everything, we can go in and pick out what we need for the different events. We also have a system where if you have something and you don't necessarily know your chapter secretary or you think it relates more to a national event, go ahead and send it to us directly. We have an email, which is historian@wwcda.org, and that'll go to the entire historian team and we'll make sure it gets to be where it needs to be. But, well, I guess it's pretty brief, but that's our historian site. Karen, do you have anything else to add?
No, I just want to thank you guys for that. And also just to echo what Brandon said, which is that if you do take pictures at events or you have any other records of the WWCDA, say there's an article written about us. I know that we had a great article that the Indianapolis chapter was able to get in the Indiana Lawyer, which was fantastic. We want to add that to our archives. Anything that happens to the WWCDA, we want to get it into our archives. You can either give it to your chapter secretary so that she can upload it, or you can simply send it to that email address, historian@wwcda.org, and the historian group will get it uploaded. But that's why we wanted to tell you guys about this, because you are part of the history we're creating, and so you too, like me, will have records, and we want to get them all put into one repository. All right, let's move to the development committee so we can get into some of these initiatives that we've been talking about. Michelle Shapiro, who is a partner at Aaron Fox, she's both in the New York and Boston office, and has really done an unbelievable job with all the initiatives and activities that the development committee is in charge of. She's been a true leader and a fabulous lawyer as well, and we're just very thankful for all the time she spends on WWCDA. So Michelle's going to give a chair's report and then turn it over to her subcommittee chairs who are running the various initiatives. And she's got her finger in every pie, but she certainly has a great leadership team helping her. Michelle?
Thanks so much, Karen. I finally found a reason why I'm glad this is over the phone instead of in person, because nobody could see me blushing. But thank you for the kind words. As Karen said, my name is Michelle Shapiro. I recently relocated to Boston from New York. So those of you who are wondering about the Michelle Shapiro from New York, I'm the same person. Let's go to the next slide, Teresa. This is an overview of the development committee. You know, in a lot of organizations, development means fundraising, and that is certainly one important aspect of what we do. But, you know, I mean, we wouldn't be here today as an association without the financial support of our generous sponsors. But the development committee really does so much more than just raise money. We raise profiles. We raise the profile of the association, we raise the profile of our chapters, of our individual members, and really we're raising the profile of women in the practice of law. Previously, we did this through 3 subcommittees with multiple team initiatives under those 3. But in recognition of the fantastic work that the team has been doing, we recently restructured into a whopping 7 subcommittees. I almost couldn't fit it all on one slide. All of the 7 subcommittees are linked by the common thread of promoting who we are and what we do. Next slide, please. We have a newly formed branding and marketing subcommittee, which is chaired by Brooke Hopkins at Alex Partners and Jennifer Wyndham. They have 3 teams under them. Branding at events is focused on finding opportunities to put our name, put our logo, put our people behind tables at events that other organizations are holding. Marketing and communication strategy team, Karen touched on that briefly. BDO, Deloitte, and Stotern are helping us there by providing the support of their marketing departments. Since, we really need some professional help on how to market ourselves as an organization, and they're doing a great job. And then you're going to hear from Nisha Chandran on our PR team about the success of our PR strategy thus far and where we want to take it in 2020. Next slide, please. Our chapter subcommittee is co-chaired by Jonelle O'Cleary and Kristen Weinmiller. They're going to talk to you in a few minutes, focusing largely on the chapter activities team, the goal of which is just to help ensure that our chapters continue to grow and thrive. Next slide has two more teams that comprise the chapter subcommittee. The chapter launch team, Karen mentioned at the outset the enormous growth that we've had. We're up to 41 chapters. Last year, we launched 6 new chapters and have many more in the pipeline. So the chapter launch team will work closely with her on seeing that happens. And then we have a newsletter team. Our newsletter is, we have 2 co-editors, Iris Bennett and Demi Dufekius. They're going to talk as well today, so I'll keep it brief and merely say that I hope you've been enjoying our quarterly newsletters. We've gotten 2 out so far. The 3rd is slated for publication very soon. Thank you to EY for your support on that, and more from Iris and perhaps Demi. On the next slide, I apologize, I have a typo. This may be the first typo of the day. It shouldn't say chapter subcommittee continued. It should say development committee continued, because this is 4 separate subcommittees. The Monitor and Receiver Initiative Subcommittee, you will hear from Kristen Kohler and Tricia Daniels on that. We've got a Rankings Initiative Subcommittee, which you've heard about through the years, but it's really just made enormous strides. We as an organization now play a really pivotal, important role in making sure that women are well represented on lists published by Who's Who and Chambers, and hopefully in the future other publications as well. The Sponsors Subcommittee, wait, too fast. Sponsors Subcommittee is responsible for forging the relationships with both our corporate and our law firm sponsors, looking for ways to collaborate. I will just say that if you're an attorney and your firm isn't already a sponsor, please consider adding the WWCDA to your budget proposal for next year. We really would appreciate all the support we can get. Thought Leadership Subcommittee has been working hard on a fantastic survey with huge support from BRG. Hopefully, we will be in a position to roll it out in 2020. All right, now you can go to the next slide, which is our Social Media Subcommittee, chaired by Claire Schenk, and Vice Chair is Jennifer Lesser. Claire's going to talk to you about the enormous growth that we've had in our social media. I don't want to steal her thunder, but I'm just going to say that you were going.
I've lost them. Hey, Michelle, we lost you. I think what Michelle was going to say is, without stealing Claire's thunder and the subcommittee's thunder, which I want to echo what you said, which has just been unbelievable, is that it is unreal the growth that we've had and the followers that we have. And
I'm back.
Okay, go ahead. You back,
I felt like I got the cane. It booted me off. But yes, Karen, yes, the growth has been absolutely enormous. You're going to be blown away when you hear about the traction that our posts have been getting and the number of followers. Just a quick, Claire will say this, but just a quick shout out. Use our social media at wwcda.org email address to announce your accomplishments. If you're not, you're really missing out on an opportunity to toot your horn, to toot your peers' horn. Help us help you by getting the word out. And then when you see these posts, reposting them, sharing them, liking them, retweeting them, doing all of that really does increase the profile of the association and the individual members. Just in closing, I just want to say what a privilege it has been to lead the development committee. We have rolled out some fantastic initiatives, and we have a lot more planned for the next year and upcoming years. At a personal level, it's been an amazing opportunity to get to know and work with women across so many chapters. With the expansion of the subcommittee structure, there are still more opportunities to get involved. So just to echo sort of what Teresa and others have said, if you want to get involved, there is a place for you. Think about what you want to be committed to. Reach out to me if it might be the development committee. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And I have now circulated to everyone the program guide. And everybody you're hearing from today and all the committee members of these various committees are set forth in that guide, because we use that guide as a reference manual for the whole year. We also will be posting this PowerPoint on the listserv. On the website. We can also circulate on the listserv as well, which will also have the information of our leadership. But I will echo what Michelle just said, which is, as you're listening to all this, if there's anything you're interested in getting involved in, just send an email today to that leader or send it to me. So Janelle and Kristen, you guys have just done an excellent job on chapter activities. Janelle, who leads our Ireland chapter, partner at Arthur Cox, and Kristen Weinmiller, who leads our Oregon, Idaho chapter, and is a partner at the Pacific Northwest Law firm. Please share with us all the work you're doing with chapter activities.
Thanks very much, Karen. Hi, this is Jonelle O'Keery here from Ireland, and I'm just going to open up this session briefly, and then Kristen will take it over. Just again, as Michelle has set out, obviously the objective of the chapter activities team is to assist chapters to kind of thrive and develop activities and other initiatives, and really to encourage all the chapters to host as many events they can and ensure that they have a quality type of events. So the chapters activities team really is there to help promote collaboration amongst the chapters, also really to encourage members to attend those activities, because particularly when law firms help and put them together, it's really important that there is a good attendance, and really to bring an awareness of the WWCDA activity to both the local market and also to the international market. So it affects across jurisdictions. Now, the team assists chapters in various ways to include gathering and disseminating information with the chapters, but so you'll be aware of that, and the association overall, and also that happens through will happen through the WWCDA Connect, the newsletter, which is being referenced, and obviously the social media platforms, which are going to be spoken about shortly. Recently, as a lot of you will be aware, Kristen and myself work with chapter leaders for the purpose of gathering data in relation to the chapter activities that have happened. And we present that data at the leadership retreat yesterday and asked the leadership to go back to their chapters just on some discussion points. But Kristen is now just going to take you through some of that data so that you're aware of it.
Hello, everyone. This is Chris Weinmiller. So Janelle and I, over the past few months, have been reaching out to each of the chapter leaders to gather information about activities already planned for this year, 2020. We contacted 41 chapters and got responses from 30 of them, so about 3/4 of the chapters responded. We'd like to thank everybody who did respond. It was really interesting going through the responses that we got, and we were really delighted by the level of response. So there were many, many responses about activities that are planned or in the planning stage, but not yet gelled. But we received information about 93 activities that are set, 20 of them with guest speakers. Janelle and I took quite a bit of that information and uploaded it. Now you'll have access to that shortly. What we found is that there really is a wide variety of activities amongst the different chapters. There are chapter meetings, of course, conferences, seminars, roundtable discussions, networking drinks, holiday parties. Some of the more unique ones are charity activities. There were a lot of also very interesting mentoring and outreach activities. So there was a good mix of both educational and social activities we found across the chapters. So we then worked with Susan and her team, and Catherine Hackney, who's one of the lead people helping Susan develop the site, Higher Logic. to get some of that uploaded so that when everybody signs in and starts using the site, it'll be available and visible so you can, better see how this is all going to work. Janelle and I have had super admin access. We won't any longer. We'll just have access as our chapter leaders. But we entered, I think, about 24 different activities of a variety of types. So once everybody signs into Higher Logic, the new website, we'll have a profile, as Susan was describing earlier. And under that, you'll see an events tab. When you log in as yourself, so as a member, and then click on events, you'll see a list of upcoming activities in your chapter, but you'll also be able to search across the site for all upcoming activities through the Connect homepage. So the idea moving forward is that the chapter secretaries in particular, but also chapter leaders, will be designated as admins for each chapter, be able to add activities to the chapter forum. And the new portal is set up really to be very simple, very user-friendly, to allow both the addition and access to this information about chapter activities. So we're hoping that each chapter will really jump in right away and get chapter activities uploaded to that events page and populate that so it's clear the breadth of the activities going on across the organization. One of the things that Janelle and I found really interesting about doing this too is that it just became immediately clear how easy it will be to collaborate and connect with people in other chapters and understand what's going on around the world. For instance, as I collected information from San Diego, I recognized that there was a program that they were having a couple of weeks later that was really interesting, and I happened to be planning to be in San Diego that day, so I was able to go over and meet with them and participate in that. We've also had a couple of WebEx-type presentations with the Seattle chapter, and that's worked out well. So we're hoping that more and more of that sort of thing will happen, and it will be easy both when you're traveling and otherwise to engage in that sort of collaboration with other chapters and not just your own. So the responses we received were just fantastic, really, really helpful, very interesting events planned for this coming year. And we'd encourage you both to make sure that your events get posted. Reach out to us if you have any difficulties figuring out how to do that. And Janelle and I will continue to be in touch with you, coordinating those events and activities and sharing ideas about things that other chapters are doing. So we look forward to doing that. Thank you.
Well, great. Thank you, Janelle and Chris, for that. And I just want to repeat what Chris said, which is this event calendar, the event section of the new website, will have hopefully all updated information on what all the chapters are doing. And every member who has a profile, again, you got to have a profile, will be able to access that information so that when you're traveling and visiting locations that are having an event, you should reach out to that leadership and make sure it's an open event that you can attend. That's the whole idea here of us being an association of 41 chapters, is so that we can collaborate with members in other chapters, and the chapter activities committee, as well as this new Higher Logic platform, will allow us to technologically, with the help of the committee, push out information so that you guys can take advantage of it. Our next thing we want to talk about is the Monitor and Receiver Initiative. Without further ado, I've already sort of laid a little bit of the background to it. My law partner, Kristen Kohler, who's also my co-chair of the DC chapter and our global secretary for the WWCDA, is the co-chair of this initiative, along with Tricia Daniels, a partner at Stone Turn. Tricia's been a member of our DC chapter for a really long time, and we're very appreciative of Stone Turn being able to support us on this initiative. So let me turn it over to you guys.
Thanks, Karen. This is Kristen, and it's great to be with everybody today, albeit virtually. As Karen mentioned, there were a couple of different reasons why this committee came to fruition, and one of them was last year around this time I was speaking at an anti-corruption conference in London, and there was a monitor speaking there, a white male monitor, and he was talking about how the Department of Justice had invited in individuals who had served as monitors in the past just to talk about the process and to talk about how it was going and talk about if there could be any improvements that were being made. And I asked him how many women were at that meeting, and he said none. And so I became very concerned that women didn't even have a seat at the table in terms of just talking generally about monitors and receivers. So there was a bit of a kernel for this initiative back then. And then as Karen said, an agency had reached out to her asking about women who could serve in this capacity. And so to us, it just seemed completely aligned with what we're trying to accomplish, which is to ensure that women are being considered and being put into these roles. Now, if we go to the next slide here, I want to talk just a little bit about the background. I know a lot of you are familiar with this, but really just to level set. So once, when I came back from that conference, I looked more at the stats. And you see that since 2004, 40 white men have been awarded FCPA monitorships. Now, this is just in the FCPA space, but I think it's illustrative and it helps us think about this. And only 3 women and 3 non-white male lawyers have been selected, and no women of color have been selected. So this is clearly something that needs our time and our attention and our focus. Now, those of us that watch closely the agreements that are coming out of the Department of Justice, we were encouraged back in January of 2017 when the Panasonic agreement came out, because we saw some language in there for the first time that said monitor selections shall be made in keeping with the department's commitment to diversity and inclusion. And so a lot of us were very encouraged by this, and we thought, that it was a good sign and a good step forward. About a year and a half later, we saw the DOJ memo on monitor selection, and this wording had changed. It now says any submission or selection of a monitor candidate by either the company or the criminal division should be made without unlawful discrimination against any person or class of persons. And so the initial reaction I think many of us had to this was, we were unclear what the change meant. We were a little concerned that perhaps it was a retreat from the stronger language back in 2017. But if we take a look at the next slide, the Department of Justice did come out in response to some of the criticism that they were hearing and saying, no, we have not rolled back here. Actually, this new language, it strengthens our commitment because it's incorporated into an actual policy memo. And they said, that it was not directed at weakening the department's position, and they don't believe that monitor candidates should come from a narrow pool or club based on insider status or any particular demographic category. So that's all good news, and it seemed to us to perfectly set the stage for this monitor receiver initiative. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Tricia to talk about what we've been doing.
Hi, thank you, Kristen. So obviously that is the background that launched the initiative. And the purpose, obviously, is to increase the number of women that are considered and can obtain these and be engaged as a monitor or receiver. And as Kristen said, to have a seat at the table. We know from our response, so we sent an email out last week, and quite frankly, the response was overwhelming. I think as of yesterday, we had 67 members that have served in these capacities, either as, as the monitor themselves or as counsel or forensic accountant to the monitor, or as in a supporting role on one of those teams. So, we know we have the ability to be in these roles, and we have been in these roles, so we just need to increase our profile. And that's really the initiative. So we, by purpose of that email, have started to catalog these. And then the next step was really to develop a plan, which will include reaching out to the various government agencies. And as Karen had mentioned, obviously we had that one instance that someone came directly to us, so we will be following up again with them, but also with several other government agencies. And in response to the email, we also got a lot of interest in being on the committee, and we are going to finalize, the volunteers in the near future. We'll finalize the committee members. So that is about it.
Well, great. Well, thank you very much. Let me just, again, thank y'all's leadership. And I know our leadership has been hearing about this initiative for many months, because when Kristen came back from that conference that she mentioned, that she told me immediately, and we started talking about launching this initiative. We shared the idea with the leadership. Everyone was on board. And then, of course, when the government agency sort of dropped it in our lap, we thought, okay, it's time to launch. And there's also been a number of articles, as you know. So as you can tell from the presentation Kristen and Trish gave, we've got this program in good hands, and thanks to all of you who have responded and raised your hand to participate. I really do feel optimistic we're going to be able to move the needle somewhat, and that we've got, a good segue into these different government agencies to talk about us being helpful and putting women forward. All right, the newsletter. Iris, we had to unexpectedly be on a flight, and Iris, you want to give us a report on the newsletter?
Sure, I'm happy to, Karen, and hello to everyone. So the newsletter, which is called In Brief, is a quarterly publication that was initiated last year, and I think it's been a terrific new initiative. The next issue will be coming out in the coming days, the winter 2020 issue. Basically, the newsletter is it's a way that we share and find out about activities and accomplishments of WWCDA, particularly at the association-wide level and also at the chapter level. So the newsletter, as a regular thing, it contains sections that include a note from our chair, from Karen Cox, announcements of significant upcoming events, obviously things that are a little bit into the future since it's a quarterly publication. We also have a chapter spotlight where we're sort of rotating through and profiling different chapters who have done notable things. So for example, in the upcoming issue, you'll see a lovely spotlight on the Philadelphia chapter, which in the past 12 months or so has just done an incredible both number and variety of different kinds of events and initiatives. We then also have a section on chapter news, which is a way to get short updates on what different chapters around the globe are doing. It's also nice because it can help put faces to names, because we always solicit our news items to have both the text and then also photos from events. We also have a section on a member spotlight. In the upcoming issue, you'll see the member spotlight is of Mary Jo White, the WWCDA Champion Award this past winter. And each newsletter has a member spotlight talking about someone and their accomplishments, or in this case, Mary Jo, we're quoting from her speech. And then we have updates on, we call Members on the Move, which is for folks who have moved firms, or we also include here associates in the WWCDA who've been promoted to partners. We like to put news items there about members on the move. So it's really a nice way to get an update on the activities, to get a sense of all the diversity and the enthusiastic work that folks are doing around the organization. We get our content from chapter leaders and secretaries, as well as from various committees within the WWCDA, such as the programming committee and others. I want to thank everyone who submitted content for the issue that's about to come out, and you'll certainly be hearing from Demi, myself, and other members of the newsletter committee for the one coming up in June. And we'll look forward to working with you on that. Thank you, everyone.
Great. Let's move on to our PR. Nisha, you want to take us through all the work we've been doing on the PR effort?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. This is Nisha Chandran, and I'm just going to give a brief overview of what the Public Relations Subcommittee has been doing over the past year. If we could go to the next slide. Our main goal has really been to help boost the visibility and media coverage of WWCDA events, as well as the organization more broadly and the role that it fills within the legal profession. So last year, we began searching for a PR firm to partner with and to elevate the coverage that we were receiving to help raise further awareness and to really generate more interest in the important work that we've been doing. So we spoke with and interviewed many firms and decided to engage Infinite Global towards the end of last year. And Infinite Global agreed to work with us in a pro bono capacity. So we are extremely grateful for that and for all of the support that the Infinite Global team has been providing to us. So along with Infinite Global, we have made good strides in sort of three key areas, which I'll talk about today. If we could go to the next one. So first, the Infinite Global has helped us to really initiate relationships with new and relevant reporters, while also documenting and maintaining existing relationships that a lot of our members previously had with reporters. And so from this, we hope to create a robust list of reporters that we can reach out to and that we form as contacts for the organization. So our strategy with new reporters has largely been to leverage our WWCDA events to initiate outreach as a reason to educate those reporters about the organization's purpose and goals. So by forming those relationships, we hope to put WWCDA on those reporters' radars and eventually leverage that awareness to turn WWCDA into a resource for the reporters' future coverage. We've been targeting a mix of mainstream and industry publications so that we're creating relationships across a broad cross-section of outlets. And we have gotten really, really amazing feedback from many legal reporters at top-tier organizations. These reporters have independently recognized that women attorneys are often underrepresented in their sources for articles. And they've all been extremely interested and extremely supportive of the organization. So much so that even some of the reporters that we've reached out to attend some of our events, if those reporters weren't able to attend our events, they've all requested that we stay in touch with them because of their interest in the organization and the work that we're doing. Can we go to the next slide? We've also worked with Infinite Global to pitch and secure coverage for our key WWCDA events, like our awards dinner gala and our annual conference. So just as an example, at our awards dinner gala, we had reporters.
Could I ask people to please mute? Thank you.
So at our awards dinner gala, we had reporters from the global.
Lisa, are you able to mute everyone except who's speaking, please? Thank you.
Start muting a few others. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. At our awards dinner gala, we had reporters from Global Investigations Review and Law 360. And last night, actually, which is not reflected on the slide, but last night we had received more coverage from the Harvard Law Record, and so we are excited for the ongoing coverage that we continue to receive from that event. And we're also working on a social media campaign with our PR firm to help continue to generate coverage and interest and leverage that event. So our social media campaign is speaking with some of the winners and presenters of the Awards Dinner Gala just to continue to draw attention to that event and to interview them in a more personal capacity. And on the next slide, you can see that our reporter interest has really grown even since the Awards Dinner Gala because of our PR efforts and our outreach. For the annual meeting, we had reporters from outlets like Bloomberg Law, Reuters, and the Wall Street Journal all confirmed to attend. And we view all of this as being extremely positive and really helping us build important reporter relationships that we hope to continue to use in the future. Next. And the last major area that we've really been working on is setting longer-term goals and organizing formal PR processes that will help our PR efforts continue to grow into the future. The first area is that we're working to create sort of formal materials and processes to help our PR efforts by building out and documenting our media contact lists and starting formal media monitoring just to make sure that we're keeping track of all of the coverage that's been generated. We're also creating a media packet as a background source for reporters and a process to make sure that we are really leveraging and getting the most mileage of all of the coverage that we are getting. So we'll soon be rolling out a more formal protocol, but on this call, we really want to encourage all members to email any coverage that you're aware of that is either secured for the organization or by any one of our WWCDA members, to email that to pr@wwcda.org. Our PR team is then going to work with our other subcommittees to make sure that all of that coverage is shared on our listserv, on our social media accounts, on our website, and on our newsletter. Our goal as the PR team really is to highlight the organization and its members and all of their accomplishments and the coverage that we're getting. So please send the PR team any coverage that you're aware of so that we can make sure that it gets recognized. And then looking at the next slide, this slide goes over some of our forward-looking goals for the next year. Of course, one of our goals is to continue to build out our media relationships and to generate more coverage, both for the organization and our members. But most importantly, we're also working to shift that media coverage from being events focused to focusing on the organization itself and the important work that the organization and its members are doing. Ultimately, our goal is really to make the organization and all of our accomplished members into a go-to source for these legal reporters. So stay tuned. We have gained great traction so far and are really seeing a lot of positive feedback from the reporters and a lot of increasing interest over the past year, and we anticipate a lot of growth in the coming year as well.
Great, thank you. And as Nisha just said, we really do want to try to promote our members, get articles written about our members, our chapters, WWCDA, and all these connections being made, and is very helpful. And also to introduce reporters to people so that they can be interviewed and used as a source in their articles. So if you have reporters that you want us to put into our bucket of reporters that we reach out to, please send them to pr@wwcda.org. We have addresses for all of these initiatives so you know who to reach out to, and that's that email list I gave earlier in the presentation and also in the program guides you've now received by email. So it's all about promoting you guys. So Claire, that's a great segue to you and the work that you've done in your subcommittee on social media. Take it away.
Thank you, Karen. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So thanks to Karen and thanks to Michelle for helping me to put together such a great subcommittee and for working with me in building what we now see are 4 very successful platforms, different types of social media that we've been able to use. So when Karen and I first began talking about building our social media platforms, we knew that this was going to be a very important initiative given the global reach of this organization. But recent events really bring home to me and I think to all of us just how important it is to stay connected through social media. And I'm hoping that you will all follow Michelle's earlier pitch and keep those submissions coming to our social media mailbox. Just to give you a sense of our structure, just so you understand how we work, we have editors and digital content managers who work with us on finessing and developing and making sure that the posts are up in proper form on a weekly basis. So posts don't appear magically and instantly. There's a lot of work to developing them, and we hope that you have the opportunity to work with them and to put together posts that will reach our membership on a frequent basis. So we also are hoping that each of you in your individual chapters have by now nominated or secured a social media coordinator, and that you've had the opportunity to work with Christina Laramie Soto on onboarding and training. We had a very successful training initiative earlier this year, and for any of you who were either unable to attend or brought on your social media coordinators at a later date, I can get that training material to you. It was recorded, so it is available. Also, I want to take this opportunity to thank the group that has provided constant support to us from FTI Consulting. They have been unbelievable, and they have helped to put together a lot of detail that we won't have time to go into every piece of it, but I'm hoping that the material that we have in this PowerPoint here will be helpful to each of you, and particularly to the social media coordinators from your different chapters in just considering how we might better develop and make use of the opportunities that we have available through our different social media platforms. So next slide, please. Here we've listed a number of findings and recommendations, and as you'll see in a moment, we're going to go through our different social media platforms individually. We've experienced successful growth primarily with the LinkedIn platform, but certainly growth with the other platforms as well. And we've discussed within our membership and with FTI different ways that we might continue to reach even a broader audience and how we might better service our members. And we welcome your input at any point in time, either directly or through your social media coordinators from the individual chapters. But echoing and picking up just a little bit on what you were hearing about from the work that is being done with the quarterly newspaper, newsletter, we're also able to use our social media platforms to highlight member achievements. So we're hoping that that's something that we'll see more of through the individual chapters, and that will give us just that much more of an opportunity to showcase and allow each of our individual members to reach a broader group in terms of explaining their practice, their accomplishments, and what it is that they'd like to disseminate to the public in terms of the type of work that they do and the articles they've written and things of that sort. So we've also talked about developing a job training initiative, job employment listing to make better use of our ability to showcase available opportunities in the white collar area through our different social media platforms. So that's something else that we've worked on. Next slide. So this is just an overview of our different social media platforms. And as you can see, we have made use of Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube with the largest growth over the last year being in LinkedIn. So let's go ahead 2 slides past the next one, which introduces our to LinkedIn. So as you can see here, last year we began with 1,179 total followers, and we've increased more than doubled our number of followers to 2,659. We've also had an explosive number of engagements, skyrocketing by over 1,000%. So you can see that our users respond extremely well to the content that we're producing, especially the chapter events. It's been very nice to see the progress that we've made in the submitters of the post using very rich visual content, which is just very, very helpful and really just brings home the enthusiasm and all of the good work and the connections that we're making through our various events. So again, as we've talked about in many different ways, we are networking and connecting, and it's just really helpful to see those posts out there. So again, as I mentioned early on, we're hoping that there are other ways to leverage this platform to showcase our leadership, our publications, and particularly really to show off all of the great expertise that we have in white-collar defense expertise. So although we see an awful lot of the chapter events, we don't see quite as frequent a use of this ability to post to different articles and ability to showcase our thought leadership. So we're hoping to see more of that in the coming year. That is an area for growth and opportunity. So also there's some tips here that I'm hoping you all take advantage of when you have a chance to go through this in terms of tagging.
Hey, Claire. So, yeah. Claire, we've got some background again. Lisa, can you fix that?
Yeah. Everyone, please mute if you're not talking. I'm also trying to go in individually.
Yeah, Lisa, is it possible for you to mute everybody except for Claire?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead, Claire.
Okay, great. Let's go to the next slide. Can we go to the next slide? Oh, here we are. Okay, here you can see some of our top posts on LinkedIn, and this will just give you an idea of what I'm talking about in terms of just the rich visual content that we're seeing and just the way in which the various chapter events can be showcased by the posts that we're seeing on our LinkedIn platform. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So Twitter, right now we're posting as we receive the post. We're adapting each post. Twitter has fewer characters, obviously, for on this particular platform, but it reaches the audience in kind of a different sort of way. So we're using Twitter more often as we would have if we were all able to meet together in San Diego today. So for our showcase signature events, that whether it be the award ceremony, our annual meeting, other key events, we're really making a particular effort to focus on Twitter and to have someone on the ground. We're making arrangements in advance. So if you do have an event where you'd like to take advantage of Twitter, which has an immediacy that is just a different kind of use of a social media platform than what you see on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is just allows for more planning and preparation. Twitter should be on the spot. So even though it looks effortless when all of our Twitter when we start twittering from these different events, there's a lot of planning that goes into that. So we're hoping you'll give us early notice so that we can work with you and showcase these key events. So if there's something like that coming up, I know Karen and her committee members work closely with us. So if there's something else we should be aware of, please let us know, since we're hoping that we can also expand on growth opportunities with Twitter in the coming year. Next slide. So as you can see here, we've just given you an idea of how you might be able to make use of Twitter, which includes a mix of high-profile member achievements, mentor opportunities, and new chapter announcements. Next slide. So Facebook, it remains available. It's not the growing at the same rate that we've seen on LinkedIn, but we've continued to rely on Facebook as one of our social media platforms, and we've seen some growth here as well. And then on the next slide, we have some examples of posts that have been particularly popular on Facebook. So that gives you a sense of how you may be able to use Facebook as well. Next slide. So finally, we've begun making progress with YouTube, and we hope that each of you will take a few moments to check YouTube, because later today you should be able to see a video that we're posting that was presented at the award ceremony. So even if you weren't able to be there to see it in person, we know you'll take away some energy from reviewing this video that we will be posting there. And then you will, after that time, see another posting from the award ceremony itself. And we will hopefully continue to make use of this social media platform. We have some protocols in place for use of this, so if that's something that you'd like to do, make sure that you have those protocols so the video's in a form that we're able to post that will work for everyone. So Michelle, Karen, everybody, thank you. Unless you have anything to add, that is all I have for today.
Well, thank you. And let me just echo what you said about having our members share and like, et cetera, on our social media, and then send postings to that address. We can only keep growing, that's for sure. So let's now move to the programming side of the house. We've got a lot of events coming up, as I previewed at the top of this call. Let's start with the co-chairs of the program committee. We will start, I think, I'm not sure Jen is on, but I think Jess is on. Jessica Naw, our San Francisco chapter leader, and Jen Armstrong, our Ohio chapter leader, co-chair of the program committee. Jess?
Yes, good morning. Let me know if you can hear me. It's nice to talk to everyone. I miss seeing you all in person, but I know we've been on the WebEx for a while now, so I'm going to go really quick. The program committee has grown exponentially in terms of what we've been taking on and all those new initiatives that are really exciting. They're going to hear more about from all the subcommittee leaders and team leaders. I want to give a final shout out to the awards dinner committee. The event last year was amazing. The next event coming up this year, I'm sure, will be equally great. The annual meeting committee is under program as well. So everything, all the content you're seeing and hearing about, and all the other work that you'll never get to see or you'll get to see later on this year that we put into the in-person annual meeting was all accomplished by a team of amazing women: Claire Rauscher, Stacey Hartman, Stacey Gottlieb. The program that you've received took a lot of work to put together, as it does every year. That was an initiative spearheaded by Stacey Gottlieb and her team members, Danielle Rowan, Nicole Van Dyke, and Kate Dion. So I want to say a special thanks to them, since I know very well how much work that takes. And you'll hear more about our Speakers Initiative Subcommittee, which is also under program, chaired by Marjorie Pierce and Karen Van Tassel. An amazing initiative which is intended to get us all more publicity opportunities to speak on panels and to help us find homes for content that we've already put together and presented in other places. Other program subcommittee, you're going to hear a lot about the other programs we've got coming up this year, other than the annual meeting and the awards dinner. We have a new chair for that, Hartley West of Cobra Kim, my secretary from San Francisco chapter. She's amazing. So she's going to be spearheading that into 2020. And then we have a brand new initiative that you'll hear about as well, the Small Firm Initiative, which is chaired by the Small Firm Initiative Subcommittee, chaired by Chris Costello. And that is going to, I think you probably saw on some of the listserv communications, going to focus on programming of interest to smaller firms, including some of the topics around billing and flat fees and that sort of thing. So with that, I'll turn it over to all the various people that lead the charge in each of these initiatives. And we're looking forward to a robust 2020 and hopefully meeting in person in December. Thanks so much.
Rita, are you on?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, everyone. So with respect to the London GIR Women in Investigations Conference, this is the third year of that conference in London, which is held and has been held in association with the WWCDA. And this event really just keeps getting better and better each year. It's an extraordinary and very special day, an opportunity to have such a large group of women investigation lawyers all in one room. And I think for any of you who have attended, it's just extraordinary to look out around that room. And the WWCDA has been very closely involved in both the genesis of the conference as well as its organization over the last 3 years. 75 to 80% of the attendees at the conference are WWCDA members, and there are also a number of attendees from in-house roles. The WWCDA.
By the way, you all can go to the next slide. I'm not sure who's in charge of the slides, but yeah.
Thanks, Karen. The WWCDA collaborates with GIR on all of its conferences to help promote the conferences and promote the inclusion of women in the conferences, and has a seat on the steering committee for the Women in Investigations Conference, which is planning the event. The WWCDA has submitted a number of names of potential speakers from its membership, and thank you to all of you who've responded to Karen's request and put names forward for this. This year, as in years past, the WWCDA will host a London reception the night before the conference, and that will be on May 19th for members, sponsors, guests, and in-house counsel. Claire Halstead and I, as co-chairs of the London chapter, are working closely with Karen and the events team on the reception, and we've been in touch with a few really fabulous venues that have great views of London, so watch this space in terms of the selection, but we hope that many of you will be able to attend. We'd love to have a really great turnout for the event, and also please do let us know if there are any guests that you would like to invite. There will be sending out email reminders that include details in terms of who you would send the names to, but we're really relying on the membership to help us drum up interest in both the conference and the reception. And so anybody on the call who has clients in Europe or who might be in London on May 19th, please send along names for the invite. It'd be great to have a really fantastic turnout of WWCDA members and supporters. We're also working closely both with GIR and internally on contingencies in the event that recent developments around coronavirus impact the conference. So we'll keep you posted on any updates on that, but hopefully the event will be able to go forward and it'll be a fantastic chance for us all to get together. And so thanks very much. That's all from me, unless there are any questions.
Yep. So just put down on your calendar January 19th, the WWCDA reception.
May 19th.
I'm sorry, May 19th. And then GIR and WWCDA's conference, Women in Investigations, will be the next day. And as Rita just said, that is a conference that was launched by both GIR and WWCDA 3 years ago, and it really is just a great conference. Next, let's go to Peggy and Hartley. We've been hard at work on other conferences that we are doing in conjunction with the ABA. And one in particular is in Japan in September. Peggy, Hartley, whoever's on that's going to lead it, take it away.
Sure. This is Peggy. I'm on. Why don't we go to the next slide? So the American Bar Association every 2 years does a global white collar institute. 2019 it was in Prague, 2017 it was in Sao Paulo. And they announced that the next one, which is great, in 2021 is going to be in Argentina. But I was talking with Karen about it, and we thought there was a real missed opportunity. Our firm has building a very robust Asia practice, and the WWCDA Asia chapters are growing as well. And so we approached the ABA and said, can we put together an Asia conference that will go in between this every 2 years. And the ABA thought it was a terrific idea. We ran with it. So this is being co-sponsored by the American Bar Association and the WWCDA. Together, we got together with the chapter leaders in Asia. We were able to put together the sponsors. The sponsors are now my firm, BRG, Ropes and Gray, Kirkland & Ellis, Patton Muchin. We got the Nishimura firm, which is local to Tokyo, to provide us with space. And I can guarantee you that the panels will be well populated with our members. We recently decided to kick the date from September 24th to 2020 into the spring of next year. We're working with the ABA right now to determine a date. We don't want it to interfere with the U.S. White Collar Institute, which takes place in March every year. So we're working with them right now to figure out another date. We can go to the next. What is this? This is it will be the 4th Global White Collar Institute. It's going to be held in Tokyo. It's going to bring together outside counsel, government counsel, and in-house counsel. If any of you have participated in the prior Global White Collar Institute, you know that it is a really fabulous networking opportunity to meet with local counsel, local in-house counsel, as well as prosecutors and local members of the judiciary. We've in the past sponsored dinners where high-level ranking members of law enforcement and Supreme Court justices have attended. So it's a really unique networking opportunity, and would highly recommend anybody who's interested in getting involved with it to let me know, to let Hartley know, because this is it's a really terrific opportunity. We will be in touch soon, letting everybody know when the revised date is, but I would expect February, April, May of next year.
All right, thank you very much for that, and thanks for all the hard work our other programs committee does. And Peggy, thank you again. You're the partner at BRG that has made sure that we've had this WebEx today and yesterday with the leadership retreat, and thank you for that. And thanks for your Lisa and the other members of the team that's been on this for us. Marjorie and Carol and your team, your Speakers Initiative team, which has had huge success, take it away.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you, everybody. This is Margie Pierce at Ballard Spar. And as you've heard from a number of people right before us, getting on panels and monitorships, et cetera, is one of the ways to get your name out to clients and other lawyers who can be the source of business for you. And obviously, diversifying those panels is a critical mission, just like the monitorship issue you heard about a few minutes ago. How many of you have been at programs and looked at the panel, which is filled with white men? And our goal is to eliminate that image and to get our members who can speak to these issues incredibly well, to get them on panels and to get more business for women. Karen has really been running this Speakers Initiative on her own. I know that she placed a number of people on panels before this became a formal group. And so it's now been taken to the next level, focusing really on locating panels and panelists around the world who we can put on panels. So you have a slide there. To save time, I won't go through everybody's names, but we've got lawyers from and a consultant from around two consultants actually from around the country. We do need people from around the world. So please do let Karen know if you want to be on the Speakers Initiative. And so our goal again is to keep growing this. And now Carol is going to talk briefly about what we've done and what we think our future looks like.
Great. Thank you, Margie. So we've already talked about some of our accomplishments, putting people on speaking in a program in New Orleans, and already had some of that with the GIR. So we are, I think, very much in line with the connecting and collaborating and advancing of women in the WWCDA. We do have the upcoming events that we have provided speakers for, GIR, New Orleans, and the program in Lisbon. So our priorities are really this year. We have had success in placing our membership, women from our membership, into different program places. And really what we need to do now is developing some marketing material so that we make sure we're consistent with all of the mission and what we need to do with the WWCDA. And that's really so that we can be more proactive. We've been, I think, reactive in the fact that we get requests for speakers, which is amazing, and we want to continue to do that. But we also want to proactively be out there helping organizations be more diverse, making opportunities for our membership, and getting more very amazingly qualified people on these panels. Because if you look at some of the quality of the people, I mean, it's just very hard to even decide who should be, move forward. So it is certainly a service that can be very useful to those outside our organization. So our priority is to start with subcommittees, and I echo what Margie said. We need people to help on these subcommittees, which for our branding and marketing communication, that will be really looking at our mission and, internally, how do we market so that people understand what we are doing and how we can advance and help them, as well as externally, how do we go to the public and make sure that they know about that. And one of our priorities may be seeing if we can try to get one of those tiles, Susan, that you talked about on the website that said, need a speaker, press here. That's an amazing, important part of the platform. Also, we are going to have a subcommittee with external outreach, and that's what we talked about, going to different organizations and proactively saying, we have access to incredible speakers, we can help you be more diverse. So that part of external outreach is very important, and we need people to help us in that subcommittee. So sustaining the partnerships, I mean, just as important as getting them is sustaining these, and as Karen calls it, kind of the feeding care of these individuals or the companies like GIR and, that we have already had. ACI, I think we've had some success with. So that will be, looking at ways to actually be able to make sure that we are expanding our role at those that we've already had, as well as outreaching to new organizations. The other thing that we have as a subcommittee will be our speaker approval process itself. We want to make sure we have a process that is open and transparent, and that we can, have a process in place that is effective to get the best pool of candidates, which we have some amazing people that come to light, and thinking about best spots for people on those organizations. So we need to just really just move it forward. But we can't do that without your help. Please do let us know if you are speaking on a panel and you're involved and you think that WWCDA could co-host or help provide speakers. Looking at an agenda, if we see, as we sometimes do, that they're all white male speakers, how can we help to change that dynamic? So we do need your help on providing us information about organizations we can work with, as well as asking for your help on serving on the subcommittee. So I think that's a good summary of it.
Yep, thank you so much. And all you have to do, guys, is send an email to speakers@wwcda.org. And again, those email addresses are in the program guide I sent earlier, and also in this PowerPoint, which you'll be getting as well. We just launched the Small Firm Initiative, which Chris Costello, this is her brainchild. Chris has been a part of the program committee from the get-go, has been really very, very active in a lot of different aspects of the committee, and she's got some great ideas about small firm programming. And as you know from the bundled fee emails that went around a few weeks ago, we got a huge response on that, and I think that's going to be one of the first programs Chris is going to launch We've got a lot of interest from our members, so she's already got a robust committee of folks that's volunteered. Chris, tell us about the plan, and thank you again for giving us the leadership on it.
Very good. Thank you, Karen. I'm going to keep my comments briefer than I had planned on because we're over time. I'm Chris Costello. I'm the chair of the new Small Firm Initiative. It's brand new, 3 weeks old. I'm also a chapter leader in Seattle. I'm the program coordinator. The Small Firm Initiative is, its purpose is going to be to promote, advance, and support the business, practice, and professional interests of WWCDA members working in small law or consulting firms. Small firm is defined for our purposes as firms with 1 to 15 professionals. Our objectives on the screen are consistent with WWCDA's objectives. First, we're going to connect the WWCDA members who work in small, boutique, and solo legal and consulting firms to set up a network, to share resources and ideas on business. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to collaborate, host, and sponsor entrepreneurial and business programming with other WWCDA organizations. And the third thing we're going to do is advance the unique value of the small practice and business model, its value prop to big firms and its value prop to business, and then also advance the small practice practitioners themselves through social media. We have a long list of initiatives. We have a flyer that we will be sending out, and we'll be providing more information.
You guys
like
can go to the next slide, Teresa. Go to the next slide, please.
The list is longer than this. I just kept it brief. The first thing we're going to do is try to gather all the small firm members to put together a directory and a listserv. We'll be working with Susan on the forum to create a forum listserv there. Like Karen said, our first program, hopefully in June, will be to follow up on that really active exchange we had on the listserv on alternative fee models. The business of law is changing, and it's been changing for us, I think, earlier, and smaller firms naturally have alternative fee models, so we're hoping we can do some leadership there. We're going to do some business networking, and then we're going to also try to help advance the social media presence for the Small Firm Initiative and its members. And the last thing I want to do is I want to do some innovation with other WWCDA members to help, just advance the overall generation of business for WWCDA. There's some opportunities for small firms, especially certified small firms, to get meetings with big corporations. I have some scheduled in the fall. Might be an opportunity for smaller firms to get in the door than to bring in larger firms. So this is all very exciting. It's all very new. Thank you so much to Karen Popp, who's been my partner over these 3 weeks to pull this together. Our plan, again, requires your help. So we don't have the energy and the momentum of face-to-face in-person meetings. So please, after this meeting, if you could send us information, chapter leaders send information on small law firms that you're aware of, small firm lawyers and consultants, please join the committee. I would like to get a co-chair or two. We're looking for geographical diversity so that we can get chapter events going all over. If you are busy in a small firm, don't worry. We're going to run this on a program management model. So sign up to the committee, even if you can only participate in a program or on an ad hoc basis. Send us your ideas. Our contact is at sfiwwcda.org. Feel free to contact me directly, but we want to run everything through the official listserv so that we can pull this materials together. Again, we're going to try to pull something off in June, and hopefully we'll be able to participate in some of the annual events and chapter events. And I will, with the benefit of more time at another event, provide more information. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Chris, for that. So thank you. Our Young Professionals Committee, which is headed up by Aviva Gilbert, really has been instrumental in supporting a lot of these initiatives you've heard about. The Young Professionals Committee is structured similar to our program structure so that they have the support. And the rollout of the Higher Logic, we are asking folks when they've graduated from either law school or other professional schools so that we can help identify the young professionals in our organization. So in the meantime, Aviva's got a report on their activities and their plans. Aviva? And this, by the way, we will be wrapping up in a few minutes, so just hang on with us. We're almost done. Go ahead, Aviva.
Yes, exactly. Can you move to the next slide, please? And I'll be very brief. And Karen gave a good intro. So the Young Professionals Committee, it's 2 years old. It's for those in their first decade of white-collar practice. So if you were a generalist before, start counting from when you started practicing in this area. And our first effort was to stand up the committee and to mirror the broader organizational structure so that we can support the whole WWCDA efforts. Our committee is 26 members, growing from across the country and world. As you might imagine, at this stage in careers, we have a lot of movement. We've had 3 alums already go to different U.S. attorneys' offices, 3 in-house, and I just learned last week that one of our members in Dallas is going to the SEC this month. So it's a valuable alumni network as well. Those connections are we hope, pay dividends in the future. We've been mostly reactive and supportive thus far over the past couple of years. We're pivoting in 2020 to a more affirmative mindset, and the way we're going to do that is through a small mentorship program that we're working on getting off the ground right now. We're going to start with about 10 or 12 pairs nationally, and we're going to keep the focus on business development, sort of business buddy connections, and making sure that in keeping with the mission of the broader organization, that referring each other business and thinking about developing that is really the focus of the program. We'll be reaching out to specific chapter leaders in the next few weeks to work on getting those pairings staffed up. Our development subcommittee is chaired by Jennifer Weiser-Doubler in LA, and we have a lot of young professional representation on the development committee, and the members of our committee have been really heavily involved in growing the social media efforts, particularly. On the programming side, Kate Dion in Connecticut is the leader of that subcommittee, and she does a ton of work to support the annual meeting. We had people staffed at the awards dinner at NACDL, just trying to make sure that in chapters where membership is available to more junior lawyers and other professionals, that we get involved early. And we're working on the administrative subcommittee, staffing that, so stay tuned for more.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. And let's go to the slide after the next one. Let's go to one more slide. So let me just here wrap up by giving this slide to you again. These are all the email addresses. If you've heard something you want more information about, if you want to volunteer to participate, please send an email to these addresses, or you can simply send it to me or one of the other leaders that you can easily find on our website or in the guide that got circulated during this call. Let me also just thank our leadership. As you can tell from today's presentations, we are in good hands with really, really unbelievable women leading all these efforts for us. And also to remind you that this is all about helping each other. This is all about helping every member and every chapter that we have, and in the practice of law in general, to make it more diverse. I know that we've got a lot of initiatives, whether it's the annual meeting, awards, other programs, speakers, rankings, chapter launches, sponsors, public relations, membership, alumni, technology, website, newsletter, branding, thought leadership, young professionals committee. These are all things that you can get involved in if you're interested. And we would love to have you. I'm going to, Claire Rauscher, who was not on earlier, I think is on now. And if Claire, I know you wanted to send out a big shout out to your colleagues on the alumni, the 2 Stacys, because the 3 of you, I'm going to give all 3 of you a shout out. You've done a phenomenal job. Thanks for that. But if you wanted to say something, and then I'll just give my final remarks, and then we're done. Claire?
Okay. Can you hear me, Karen?
Yep.
All right. Great. Well, thank you. And I'm sorry I couldn't be heard before. I want to give a big shout out to my 2 co-chairs, Stacey Gottlieb and Stacey Hartman. They couldn't have done this without them. Stacey Gottlieb, I think you all have gotten the email that has the program guide. It just gives you a little idea of what our program would have been like. And the amount of work that goes into that is extraordinary. I want to thank the chapter leaders for getting their reports in, Kate Dion, who also did an amazing job. And I also want to thank Stacy Hartman, who does a lot of logistics, social media, and things like that around the program. We're very disappointed this didn't come off, but we're looking forward to the next program in Miami and any other programs that are coming up. And I also want to thank Karen for your support and everyone else who assisted in this PowerPoint, which was quite an undertaking, but it all came off. So thanks again, and thanks, Karen.
All right, well, thank you. So that ends at least this portion of the WWCDA annual meeting. Stay tuned for other announcements about how we're going to hopefully have the other part of the networking part. We had unbelievable speakers for our dinner and our breakfast, but I don't think we're going to be able to recreate this year. But all of those people said to give them a rain check for next year, so we're going to have an abundance of speakers for next year as well. This last slide is just a reminder of how you can partake of all the member benefits that you have being part of the WWCDA, and also if you want to be more involved by helping be a leader of the WWCDA. Thanks again, everybody. Stay safe, stay well, and have a wonderful 2020 if I don't see you anytime soon. Thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.